So last winter, I was listening to this podcast that was meant to showcase how to teach in a secular culture. And the pastor, who's a pastor in New York City, was asked this question. He said, "When do you realize the effects of secularism, the way people think in a secular way?" And his answer was surprising to me. His answer was COVID. It's like, I really noticed it during COVID. Okay, I was interested in that. I'm like, and he went on to explain. He's like, as a minister in New York City, when 9/11 happened, what everyone was talking about, and in fact, he was even on the news, national news, was how could God allow this to happen? Larry King Live, which I'm dating myself with that reference, is one of the top news guys at the time. And he had a whole panel of religious observers and religious leaders on to address that question. How could God allow this to happen? And then he's like, in 2008, when the housing crisis happened, it really affected Manhattan. That's what people were talking about as well. Is God judging us for our greed? You notice that people in Manhattan were talking about that. And then Hurricane Sandy happened in 2012, and he's like, it was a very similar question. He's like, in 2000, when COVID happened, I noticed a difference. People weren't talking about whether or not God was bringing judgment on us. You're just talking about the sickness, what the law should be. The conversation seemed to be silent. And then he said, I think COVID was our first secular tragedy. Now, whether he's right or wrong, I, as an outside observer, not being in New York City, but just observing the culture generally, it's very plausible.